shocking to me. Yesterday we saw some surprises.
Yeah.
Today I am shocked.
I'm also shocked. That's why I didn't say anything for 5 seconds.
I was like, I was
that shocked.
Well,
Momentary pause.
Let's be honest. If you told me after 5 games, Liquid is going to be on the dead bottom in this group, I would say you're completely wrong.
Wake up from your dreams.
Wake up. All right, let's get things going. It's the final game of the day here for PGC. Day number 2, Group 2. Let's head over to the commentary team here for one more time for Miramar.
Yes, thank you very much, boys. On the desk, no 5-second pause here because we are amped up and ready to go for match number 6, the final game of the day, for day number 2 of group number 2. And Sims, we have got a wide open race. You were talking to me off air and you were basically saying Rumblers, they are the team to watch going into this final game. If they go out early, it opens the door.
They have a big old target on their backs now. 26 points is the crossover between life or death currently as it stands. As with everything else, it's a complete mathematical equation. How do they end perpendicular to all the rest of the teams once this whole game is said and done? Liquid, 11 points. Dead last, 16th place. What have the boys got in the bag? How deep can you go? What's the mental stability amongst the roster now to be able to just handle it? Literally, drop, kill, and qualify. They are only, let's be real here, they are only 15 points away. That's 15 frags. That's 10 points from a win and 5 frags. Whatever calculation you do it, it's only 15 points. It's doable, but how good do the other teams do around them?
And not just that, but imagine they get 14 points, they miss out, they finish 9th. They'll be feeling much more comfortable tomorrow rather than, let's say, they have another shocker game, which we've seen from them today. They get 0 points going into tomorrow with 11 points would be devastating. There's playing in the elimination stage with a low amount of points, and then there's playing in the elimination stage with like 30 plus points. There's a difference. You feel more comfortable. Of course, tomorrow is only going to be 6 games. We know VC Gaming, for example, has got 30 points. They've got the highest amount of points of the teams from yesterday that are already in the elimination stage. And we were saying the teams, I think, from today that are going to make it into the elimination stage, there's quite a few that will be around that 30-point mark compared to the other group.
Look, we focus on Liquid because it's such a big brand name and it's such a big team that we didn't expect to be in this position, but let's not count out all the rest of them that are down in that...
Genesis?
Genesis.
Atletico?
America's shining star. North America's shining stars as a whole. Genesis should be up there.
Oceanic's shining star.
Look, Atletico, I've seen back, what was it now? I think it was for Face It. One of the Australian teams literally got some of the most points I've ever seen in PUBG on one single day. Was it something like 86 or 7 to qualify above a certain team and knock them out? It might actually be in Atletico. I actually don't think they qualified for that one. I'm sure they got booed out of it. So anything's possible for all these teams that are down here. It's not just Liquid that's on the line. Yes, we focus on them because of the names and because of the org and because of where they are. But for everybody else that is below the Rumblers, qualification is still within reach.
It's certainly so. Let's drop out of the plane for one more time today. Match 6 on Miramar. We are underway as teams begin their final destination. And we'll see if there are any surprises still to be had. Who knows? Maybe the teams in the top 8, Sims, just continue on their merry way and sort of shut that door in the face of all those in the bottom 8 and say, hey, too little, too late.
Crow Crown's a nasty little roster that could potentially scare some people or even shock here. I've also witnessed them, same thing as well, with the Face It Global Summit. They qualified in the last circle, on the last day, on the last game by 1 point for that major event. And then there actually, some other teams flopped and failed around them, Ends being one of them. NIP didn't make it through to, like, there were certain things where they made it through to the grand, excuse me, NIP did, where they made it through to the actual grand finals. And no one kind of expected to do. They're a bit of a quiet team, but they can shock and they can surprise. So don't count out Crow Crown for now.
Certainly going to be a very mathematical game.
Hit it.
Interesting circle. Pop for phase 1. And this is where you sort of pull out the calculator, though, isn't it? Every kill, you kind of add it onto the tally. Every kill matters. Al-Azhar, the red dot on the dartboard here for phase 1. Genesis, Impicado. Do they just keep playing the same style to close the day out? try and maybe be a bit more aggressive. You might see it from some teams to look for kills to be the thing that gets them across the line here.
Slight difference in adjustment, which could be deadly compared to the last game. This time round, Detonator is directly in front of Team Liquid's transition path. If they go to El Pozo, they have Crow Crowd, but they play in the PL with them. They know that that's their home territory. They know it's a hot spot. Detonator's up in La Cobaderia, and they can't go through the main road, which means they have to traverse all the way through the crater field area. Samty is ahead of the game. He does have a vehicle, but still, pretty much when you look at this circle with how, you've got at least 40, 35% of the map that's just unreachable. You've already cut it off, so there's only a small amount of space here and limited places that teams will be able to go without bumping into one another.
And Detonator's a team that's going to be happy to just stay in their city for a while. They'll slowly move. We saw them at Belladamar in the last game, and they took a very long rotation, so a similar style of play to a Freak of Freaks. And I don't know, maybe if Team Liquid get unlucky, I don't think they're going to push through the city. James is already far up north. Kari actually moving early, so starting to think maybe not much will come from that, fortunately for Team Liquid.
I wonder if any of them just go with the mindset of, you know what, we're going to elimination. Let's take it as another day and another free day of practice compared to other teams. Yeah, it's another 6 games, and let's just farm as many points as we can, and potentially even
That's just not it.
Yeah,
that's not where you pull out. I'm not sure what GYY was thinking there for QM. There's a way though of thinking about the elimination stages extra practice.
I mean, you look at FaZe Clan,
next weekend,
right? And the teams that qualified yesterday, they played the 6 games and they've got time off until next week. For the teams that are playing today, okay, they didn't get the games yesterday, but they get another 6 tomorrow.
There's no difference if you qualify from the top 8 tomorrow, for example, to next weekend. The only difference is you've just played an extra 6 games.
There's always a bright side to going in elimination, right?
There's always a brighter side to life.
You're just using up that extra life.
I think we're just being very kind here for the teams that are going to be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're not, you should be really.
The truth is, I think everyone definitely would want to not play tomorrow. It's Neki with a nice knockdown onto Profi. That's not the start that Genesis were looking for here on Miramar. They might lose HWin if they're not careful. Turtle close with the mini.
They're turning and facing. They're committing to this res.
Well, this is where you think, okay, it's the final game. The Nerf has, lost his vehicle. Whoops. Sometimes it just gets away from you. That's life.
Well, Genesis have been halted for now. Damage from afar. Gets the tag, not the frag. AHQCC will befall as well. Luke 12 picks him up. That's an instant point in their pocket. So Lazarus, 31 points now. And we will be trying to keep track of them as much as humanly possible because points mean prizes. And it also could literally be a matter of qualification quite easily. Or relegation tomorrow. Reebox will get tagged up from the back. Enters Force, finding him on transition. Where's the rest of the teams? I'll just bring you up to speed. Detonator, they've gone for the wide. All the way up in the north, they're heading on the main road through Torre. And just below now, Camp Militar. Michael goes down for AM, find him forever. It's not a death just quite yet, but TSM and 4AM, they're going head-to-head. I can see it on the map here. They are at each other's throats. They're at the doors. Gustav onto Jailu. Michael goes down. He's confirmed. Forever finds him. So your top 2 teams at the moment, they're both qualified. I think this is just friendly banter between them both.
Yeah, of course, if TSM were to knock out 4AM right now, that all but certainly guarantees them top spot. Still a long way to go for 4AM if they were to overtake TSM, and that would certainly be saying something. And I think it's also fair to say going into next weekend and maybe for the rest of this tournament, TSM, 4AM, they are now 2 of the favorites for the remainder of PGC with the way they have dominated this lobby.
And I suppose for these 2 teams, if they get a bit bloodthirsty, you think, you know what, it's just a public game.
Well, this is just practice now to finish off the day.
The thing is that they could crush someone's dreams. They could go quite easily find a team that is down in the bottom 8th and kill them.
The funny thing is, you actually probably play better when you have all... The pressure's gone now for these teams. There's nothing to lose.
Imagine if there was some kind of in the back, you had the best analyst in the world who'd done his job and coming into this year, you know what? A team that looks close to us is in this position. We don't want to see them in the grand finals or groups. Go and find him now and kill him. There is multiple angles to this, and there is, looking at it from that kind of perspective. If there's someone who plays close to you, why not kick him out of this? Why not kick him while
because of the fact that points carry over to tomorrow. I think that's something you've also got to take into account. Now, let's say, for example, in a hypothetical world, and this is obviously not the case, but if points didn't transfer we might have seen some hot drops in this game.
Yes, totally. Totally. But for 4AM and TSM, it's just open field there. So if anyone they don't like, if anyone comes close, why not have a go? Why not pick up some free points? I'm seeing Lazarus and Atletico getting a little bit too close to one another. Elazar could be the hot spot because it is dead center, but we don't ever really see circles there. James is on his own. All the rest of Team Liquid, they're just moving by the Oasis. Sun Sisters are not far behind them. Keep a track on that one. Crow Crowd up against the western side of the circle. All the way by water treatment. Down south we have a Freak of Freaks and Genesis once again going head to head on the main road. Rumblers, slowly but surely, they will enter the point all the way down south, the furthest away for now. And Sting Divine, 2 wins in the bag, 10 kills in the previous one, and just below La Bendita.
Rumblers probably got that thought in the back of their head, but that is, you kind of coined it before, a target on their back. They might look to play a more slow style here, push in late, rather than going out early. If they can find a way to have 4 alive by the late game, it gives them an increased chance of holding on to their top 8 position on that 26-point mark. So many teams so close to them. TSM had spotted Atletico, which, for the record, Atletico and Lazarus both taking shots at each other. No knocks yet, but actually looking at the map, Atletico are pushing onto Lazarus, who have got a 2-2 split. Hurdy-Curdy and Uncivil. Oh, James has spotted him. Hurdy-Curdy just standing still. It's a free target. It's a free kill for James, and maybe, just maybe, a beginning for Team Liquid, a platform to build off for the final game. It's, I know, a long, long way to go, but it's gone from 15 points to 14 points required.
Lazarus are up there, just in 7th, so it is a team that you would be wanting to take away. But the danger for me is that James is completely, and I mean completely, disconnected from the rest of his roster. He's on his own in no man's land. Everyone else is up north.
This is an
Still looting.
ugly circle for a lot of teams as well. There's just not much around this area. You said before, what, 45% of the circle maybe was unplayable, and that trend continues.
You're keeping water in.
I almost say about 50% is just about unplayable. Just about, really, when you consider the mountain range on the east side. I mean, you can maybe play, if you want, you could go on the other side of the road there. I just wouldn't recommend it.
It's a dip. It does fall off, but like the mountain is just inaccessible.
You know where this circle's going.
That's the problem with it.
It's going back out west. It's going back towards QM, Entus Force, AHQ. So when you've got that information, you know where it's definitely going to be going. Everyone wants to be there. There's just not enough space for phase 2 for 16 teams, and then further for phases 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is going to be rough.
They've got so many teams that are still yet to come in. Team Liquid has still got 2 of their players just south of Campo Militar. Sun Sister as well, long way out. Down to the South Grumblers and Sting Divine as Alo and Luke get pushed on by Aqua 5. Gets the flush onto Luke 12 on Civil. We'll get the trade onto Aqua 5, but they do lose Luke. Wicked continues to push up. He's been aggressive, and Uncivil holds the window, holds it well. 3 kills for Lazarus. They're not going out without a fight. They've got a couple of more points now in their back pocket here for the final game of the day.
Between QM Entus Force.
It's not good for Detonator, though. They look like to be the first team potentially confirmed that they will play from this group tomorrow.
QM Entus Force and W Click, strongest position of them out. At the moment, or now should I say. Central point on the map. Circle has a good tendency to come this way, given that there is inaccessible terrain for final circle that does linger around this in a circular area. So it tends to flood down. It will pull away from water as well. So you know exactly where it's going to... This is the thing. All these teams know where it's going to slip. It's, like a piece of the puzzle. It's only going to go to one place now, so they'll all be calculating that up. But it is risk-reward, because this circle is going to be so compacted with players. We have 56 alive. And one hell of a small circle to put them all within.
Make that 55 alive. Profi gets Nikki, although Jet with a quick triple tap. Luckily, Nerf's got the angle, and he's going to get the double knockdown onto Turtle as well. Nerf picks up 2. Genesis are about to go to 3. And for the time being, it will actually shift Genesis temporarily into the top 8. Once these are confirmed, of course. And this is where, as I said, calculators get them out. Harold with the knockdown onto Nerf. Jet will bleed out.
So the points keep coming through. The Rumblers will just hold them now. Comes down to kills as well and frags. TSM have finally been spotted by Liquid, just rolling up on them slowly but surely. We're out in the open. Samty and Jeems couldn't get an off angle here should they decide to get involved. Maybe come from behind to do damage to TSM. Jempty currently disconnected ever so slightly from the rest of the roster, but Ibiza, whatever you want to call him, is still there. He's long, he's tall. Everyone knows his presence when he's on the map and he can shoot, so you have to be really, really careful. But Jeems is still holding the rest of the teams down in the south. Oh no, this is a European massacre. I'm seeing Crowd also rolling up to the backside of TSM. We're going to have a three-way.
And it certainly will be the fun kind, as Crowd maybe, though, seeing that next circle pop, might want to keep going up more easternly. Obviously, for TSM, they can have as much fun as they want here. Team Liquid are the ones sweating. Ibi and the Murado trying to vacate the area. And with the Toby eye tracking, you can see how still Gustav is as he sprays down. Doesn't land a shot, though. Now they've spotted Crowd.
I just love the little look over the shoulder. See you later, guys. And he's gone for now.
They're just making it to the circle. They're not much further, though. I mean, TSM are going to continue pushing towards Team Liquid. It's sort of a put it on hold, and we'll have our date tomorrow. Maybe welcoming back with shots. Oh, Sun Sister have just pushed right into 4 AM. It's Forever holding the right angle. ZGG holding the left angle.
Gabba goes down. I should instantly followed up as well. The grenades are going to come out, so more damage. They can essentially just push this one. They've got the initial knocks that don't get too great. Chemic. Oh, he hasn't checked his angles. The hip fire. Forever is punished hard. ZGG also comes flying around the corner, but Curse of the Caster as he spins around, unfortunately doesn't get the view on this one. You still have Sam up here just overlooking this. Maybe play a little bit of a spoiler, but I think, you know what, I'm last alive. We've only got one kill. We'll try and do what we can. Where was Sunstice coming into?
They're sitting 10th right now on the total
so he
ranking.
needs to stay alive. If he goes down, they're out.
That means they'll be out of the game, but also making sure they are out of next weekend, at least for now, temporarily. They'll be going to the elimination stage. Still a chance, though, with Crazy Sam alive, and that's why his life is very important right now. Every point matters. If you're AHQ, if you're Lazarus and Entus Force, even 33 points, it's not enough right now.
More quiet on the western front, not too many. There's not really that much of an engagement. It's just getting into this circle because it is rather compacted. You know it's going to pull from El-Azhar. You do have that huge field as well, and you've still got the cliff face in play, which again is going to push it more towards a centralized position.
Yeah, they just push straight into Team Liquid here. Crowd.
Honestly, I don't really know what you can do. I don't even know if they've got...
Oh, no, not like this.
4 fins and a cow. What can go wrong?
Everything can go wrong for Crowd here.
Everything can go right for for Team Liquid if they manage to blow it up.
Well, yeah, that'd be 4 pretty comfortable kills. They're going to try and hug the mountain as best as they can. Obviously, they can't go any further to the east because of it, and it actually works out because of the dip. In the end, it works out very, very well. Well played from Crowd, and Hikari's just been spooked. He's going to run back over to Isco. We're about to get that circle pop now for phase 4, the ever-important phase 4. And see who is going to get this feed, I presume. North, never mind. It's kind of south, it's central. W-Click, a freak of freaks, they hold the center positions. Everyone else, as you can see, especially out to the west, it's all just holding the edge.
Liquid, Crowd, 4 AM, TSM. The last player from Sun Sisters all have to make an advancement somewhere in the north.
W-Click are currently in last position right now, as Team Liquid have overtaken them by 1 point.
At least there's some respite, I suppose.
They're actually going to move down south. They're going to try and take the compound instead of the high ground. Isco's knocked down by Lamboot. Levi's lost with a line for Sting Divine, but they've done enough. 43 points will be more than enough in terms of safety. That'll be our first team eliminated. Well, from winners to last.
And you know what? This is an interesting story backbuilding. Because now the Rumblers have engaged, Genesis have got the information that they are kicking it in the distance.
There goes Detonator, so they will be playing tomorrow. 18 points for them, locked in going into the elimination stage.
So W-Click are actually just in front of both Rumblers and Genesis. The question is, which team fights them first?
Well, it's a 2-2 split. Stream with a knockdown onto Jempty as
It's a really important
Atletico and Team Liquid actually taking shots. Atletico have got the position, but Team Liquid are starting to land some knocks. They got Extreme. Zoid fires back onto James, though. Ibiza and Sampty. They need more points than this. Sampty sends it straight down. It's urgent time for Team Liquid. Can they get another reprieve? We saw it in the last game where they had 2 players knocked. They got the revives. They were able to continue further, pick up vital points. If they can at least finish at around 20 points going into the elimination stage, it gives them a platform to get back into next weekend. Wayless just says thank you for the 3 points. He even goes flying out of the vehicle. That's one way to close off the day for 4 a.m. Of course, they're not playing tomorrow. They're going to next weekend immediately. Atletico need the points, though. And they just lost a couple, thanks to 4 a.m. The nade bounced right on top of Jim. A safety. Oh my god.
Oh no, stop. They're already dead.
Flood got him. And I think the rest of Team Liquid might just go down. Triple tap from James, though. Sends Zoid back behind the rock to heal back up. James is... Oh my goodness. It's all over, surely, for Team Liquid. I think we might have built it up more than it really was. They will be falling to the elimination stage. 11 teams remain, and all of a sudden, chaos has ensued on Miramar.
Sun Sisters gone, Liquid gone, Detonator gone. We'll see you tomorrow, boys. You're playing in Elimination Sunday. Genesis still
alive.
Chomping at the bit, yeah.
Rumblers holding on to that 8th spot on 27 points. But as you said, Genesis right on the heels. And if Rumblers do go out here on 27 points, it might not be enough.
AHQ, I was just about to say they don't have any kills. They managed to at least pick up 1, which does damage towards the Rumblers. Again, 33 points. It's still, it's risky, to be fair, if both of the North American teams decided they want to get involved here. But the Rumblers themselves, they are bleeding at the wayside. They're outside of the blue, and they need to move forward. For AHQ, this is a really good point to solidify their position above them.
It's not just for AHQ, but it's everyone else that's in the bottom 8 that's trying to make their way into the top 8. Micro Fry's not going to make it past Yan Lee. 1 more to deal with. Still has Milk alive, who's watching his back. Cherry Poppins behind this tree. I think for Rumblers, it's going to be a nervous wait to see, but it might be 1 extra point. That could be the difference maker for Cherry Poppin. Can he confirm it? That is the question on Yan Lee. Milk throws out the smoke. It's not over yet for Rumblers.
They stole it away from them.
Can he confirm this point? It could be the difference maker. He got the revive Milk. SR's back up alive.
This is pretty good from AHQ. All they got to do is just keep on surviving. Really, there's no other word to put it. Just keep on surviving. W click 2 players back-to-back. Wu Feng with a 2-for-1 nade. That's all the way up in the hillside. So QM are making an advancement on this. I really like this while they've been focused and tunnel visioned all the way down the bottom, but there's a response. Reeboks needs to hold on. There's 1, there's 2. Third one's up top. Can he pull it and stay alive? This would be huge momentum for his team.
2 left standing for W Click. There goes Atletico in 11th position. That will be playing in the elimination stage tomorrow. Liga still alive. No kills for QM. Hasn't quite been the successful breach that they would have liked, but at least
they've jumped him.
Causing damage.
Genesis have jumped him, just got kills in a kill feed. If Rumblers go out, that 1 last player, they've done it and they've advanced.
Cherry Poppin, unfortunately, hasn't been able to make something out of nothing. It was always going to be a tough ask. He's out of first aid kits, and Rumblers, unfortunately, will fall out into the elimination stage. Genesis are making it happen right now. They're into the top 8, and it's on their own accord. They've got 4 alive as well.
There's still a few other teams down there within it. W click. I mentioned Ribox. That's all 3 players gone. Ira does step up. He saw some of his stats lingering a second ago. He does continue.
Crow Crowd is the biggest threat now for Genesis.
I'm glad you touched on them because they've got all 4 players alive. But the problem is there aren't that many to kill within their vicinity. Genesis has been biding their time and picking up more points when it comes to kills. They need to get the win, but they more importantly need to get the frags.
Genesis pushing up behind Afrika. Afrika have got 4 alive. If they were to push south and take the fight with Genesis and wipe out Genesis, it might give it an opportunity for Crow Crowd. But I have a sneaky feeling that Afrika Freaks are going to actually be trying to get the easier kills here onto Crow Crowd because they need to cross this road and it's not going to be easy. Up north is Lazarus and there's Force. I think they're going to finish off Iro, who's still alive actually for TSM.
He just wants to get the full win, doesn't he? He just wants to be at the top.
He just doesn't want to have to sit there. He might as well just keep playing.
Why not? He used to do it with DA, so he might as well continue now. Crow Crowd, 21 points. They're really the only team that could jump Genesis here.
Yeah.
But the only way they do it is they play for kills. They're going on a 2-2 split. Afrika Freaks is directly in front of them, holding down the building. That will be an extremely difficult push to cross that road, especially when you're so disconnected. The big advantage for Genesis is the fact that, well, not only have they been given the circle away from Crow Crowd, but they have the height advantage. They are uphill.
The worst case scenario for Genesis right now would be if Crow Crowd keep wrapping south, pushing behind Genesis, wipe them.
Oh, and they don't know they're there.
That would make it actually just a 4-point gap.
Make it fun.
It would certainly make it fun. In saying that, while Genesis remains alive, it makes it extraordinarily difficult for Crow Crowd. Because it's an 8-point gap.
What does AFF do, though? How does AFF play a part in this one? So Crow Crowd can't be seen, but I've got a feeling that Nerf just copped for them on the rotation. If AFF draws their attention, they look...
Genesis push onto AFF, and then Crow Crowd pushing behind and pinch them.
Honestly, dude, I am damn sure Nerf has seen them because they're now all rallying towards the edge of the circle.
But they haven't seen Tixu and Misa.
Yeah, he's got him. There we go. Okay, now this is the problem. You're going to catch these players individually. Oh, wait. You are 100% right.
Never mind. Now they see them. They needed to get those. They needed those knockdowns. Misa with a knockdown onto K-Mine, but Crow Crowd are bleeding players right now. Only Nuki remains. Well, it was, for a small amount of time, a chance for Crow Crowd, and it all came crashing down. It really, Tixu needed to land those shots.
I think really they needed to go as a 4. If there had been a full 4 unit there, they only saw the last 2 stragglers, then maybe they could have hit them from behind and not had the information.
Well, now our Freak of Freaks have heard what's happening, but obviously, unless Teammate and Nuki can survive, maybe pushing behind a Freak of Freaks.
Oh, no. Oh, wait, what? Okay. I don't know how. Look, this is just kind of
Shadow
as it is. I don't know what's going to happen.
No, there's no way.
I honestly think that Genesis are just going to slap them from above, but things seem to be going well. Timmy does fall back. They're going to take advantage of this one. Nuki is the last man standing for me. This is a Genesis who will avoid relegation.
Well, 1 health, but then the heal for Nuki. Look, it's impossible from here. And then spots him as well.
It's dumb.
That will be it.
It's dumb.
That will also then be our 8. I don't think mathematically it's possible for W Click. I thought I'd touch on them, I guess, and technically QM have still got Liga, but...
I mean, these are live standings, so
yeah.
You could... If he gets 10 points for the... no, it's...
I mean, theoretically, W Click have got 2 players up here.
I'm going to say no.
Would be needing to wipe out probably Lazarus, Entis Force, Liga, hope a Freak of Freak, wipe out Genesis, and then W Click would have to wipe out a Freak of Freak and win. No, it's just not happening.
Long story short, they have to kill the server. That's kind of how it would be. They'd have to just slap the entire server now, pick up the frags as much as they can if they even want a chance of doing it.
In saying that, though, and this is the thing, again, where points transferring over tomorrow for W Click, yes, they might just miss out. Yes, they might finish around 9th or 10th, but they're going to get more points here in this final game. That go from maybe 18 points to something like 25, 26 points, and that might be the difference for them going into the elimination stage, as Shadow is going to be finished off by Uncivil.
Look, I don't want to take anything away from all these teams that are playing here and now. They're all professional players, and we give them the courtesy and the respect as we would any other team, but we generally know who's going down. Can we just take a moment between ourselves to appreciate that Team Liquid is going into a relegation match tomorrow with
they
a
lost?
BS 13 points.
Are they going in with the lowest amount of points? I don't actually recall yesterday's group standings for points.
Well, I mean, to be fair, G2 also pooped the bed,
G2,
so
so
down
G2
there.
and Team Liquid are probably the bottom 2. Well, they should be the bottom 2 because G2 was last, right?
PEL Monka S. Good lord. Well, we'll continue on with this one. That's all tomorrow's fun and games, and I'm sure the analyst desk can go a little bit deeper into it. AFF are disconnected between each other. NN and Style. 1-to-1 scenario. Nerf not quite center of the map. Doyu also there. Entis Force might be able to round this one off, to be honest with you, with a win. Should the rest of the teams go for one another and maybe do a fair amount of damage. Profit, there is a response there. Unfortunately, K-Mine just drops dead in front of him. Might be able to get the revive here because H-Wing can hold Styles back while Nerf just maybe keeps the tabs on those in front. That's exactly what he's going to do. Puts an end to Ribox because he has been nothing but stellar during this game, picking up most of the frags for his team.
Not quite Gen G-esque from Genesis, but definitely the replica. I mean, 9 kills here in the final game. They weren't as far back as Gen G was yesterday for Group 1, but a similar scenario, and goes to show really You know, with this 6-game format, all it takes is one really big game where you can get double-digit kills in a win, and that's going to be the majority of your points. That can end up being enough. You're seeing it with Sting Divine. They had 36 points from 2 games. The other 7 ended up actually coming from 4. So 7 in 4 games is horrible. It's almost Team Liquid-like. Not quite as bad, though.
It's nice to see HQ making it through. I will say that. We've seen them time and time again kind of performing on a world stage level, but if they would have gone down to relegation, it would have been disappointing. They're one of the teams that everyone kind of has an eyes on, especially even from a fan base perspective. Like, the fans that they draw in is, I know they've got a lot of support for the players out there, so it's good to see.
Yep.
Atletico, I think it's safe to say since Lu 12 has left them, it's a good team, but it's certainly not been the team that we saw. It's more of a, it has had its setbacks regardless. Crow Crowd, again, I've not seen the spark that we've been seeing within PEL.
I really thought Sun Sister and Rumblers, out of the bottom 8 teams, and rightfully so, the 9th and 10th, were the standouts from this group going into the elimination stage. But what's interesting is it's going to be VC Gaming from Group 1 on 30 points that will lead the way tomorrow as we kind of wind down match 6. Right, there's going to be eliminated. There goes Style. 10 kills for Genesis, and well, we go back to sort of this. I was about to say you're kind of taking momentum into the semi-finals for Genesis, but you've got a week off now.
Am I right in saying, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I could be, am I right in saying that only 1 Chinese team's made it through to groups directly?
You would be correct. It was
4
2 are in the elimination stage already from Group 1. So
a stronger and extremely developed region. That's quite a shocker.
Yeah. 4 AM though, I guess you could say, are also now, after the performance today, one of the favorites. I mean, you can kind of start to talk about how the rest of PGC is going to play out. K-Mine knocked down onto Indigo. I mean, this is an interesting fight here between Entis Force and Genesis. Nice spray from K-Mine, knocked down onto Kale. Genesis want the win. They want to finish off in style. Doya is the last one alive for OGN Entis Force. The sister team won Group 1. But Entis Force will be more than happy to at least just move on to the semi-finals. A 4v1 would be an interesting way to finish off the day.
It'd be sick.
It would be pretty sick.
I mean, we saw it from a Korean player yesterday. There's no reason why we can't see the same thing now. Sweep and clear all the way up at the top. He doesn't have to give away any points because at this point it just doesn't matter whatsoever. Hitchwin has seen him, hits the deck for now.
Look at the other 3 all running straight towards him.
And honestly, that's going to be a GG. Hammer, Nail, Coffin, Genesis. Not only do they pick up, they win. They guarantee themselves avoiding tomorrow. It was questionable coming into game number 6 whether or not they'd be seeing Elimination Sunday. But that, my friends, guarantees them avoiding it altogether.
And for North America, quite a few teams avoiding the elimination stage tomorrow. Genesis left it to the last minute, left it to the last game, almost like Gen G did yesterday. But unlike Gen G, they got it done pretty early into that game rather than towards the very end. And not only did they win that game, 15 kills, a performance. 4 ended up being alive towards the end too. That's what you want to take going into the semifinals next weekend. That sort of confidence you can now sort of build off of. They'll feel good. They'll feel ready for next weekend.
It's an interesting one because I have to think, really, if Liquid would have challenged them on their drops, because they weren't exactly playing, you know, the best PUBG in the world. They've only just qualified in the very final game over 6. In the same scenario, maybe they were a little bit shaky. Maybe Liquid could have actually challenged them and hot dropped them and gone for their position.
Do you think you can fit 3 teams into Pachinki? Because, I mean, Entis Force obviously was there. Genesis, they had that line down the middle, and both teams were